Hello everybody, this is Dino and this is going to be some brief recommendations on machines you want to try and use in order to get kills and damage in the different nations for the T-44-100 event. Now, tier 6 and 7 would honestly be the tiers I would recommend for kills. The, the machines still have low enough health that you can kill them relatively quickly, and the games are shorter overall than they are at the higher tiers. And the guns are pretty damn powerful, tier 6 and 7, for the armour that the vehicles have. Now, vehicles, it really depends on your playstyle. Do you prefer fast mediums, or do you prefer snipers, or do you prefer up close brawling? There are, in most trees, there's some options for each of them. Like in Russia, the T-150 is good for brawling, and T-30-45 is good for just fast medium. Sniper wise, KV5 probably the best option. Su-100 is good too. Good 122mm. Can't remember if it has gun depression issues. It may have gun depression issues, but whatever. It's still a decent choice anyway. France. Actually, you want? I'm just going to add tier 7 to that as well. For USSR. IS is great. I can tell you that right now. IS is amazing. T-43, I liked it. A lot of people hate it. LTDB is also good. Now, let's go to France. France. All of these are shit. All of these. All of the tier 7s are crap. I'm not exaggerating, they are all crap. Okay, for kills, ARL 44, my favourite option. 12 TZR as well, if you're good with that sort of machine, it's a good option. Germany. Germany has a couple of decent options. I'm going to rebuy the 3001P for getting kills because, in my opinion, that thing's 88 is pretty underrated. And it's much faster than this thing, and this thing's armor is worthless anyway, so you may as well have the speed. The big tank is, but I believe it still has 8 degrees gun depression. I'll double check that when it's loaded. Tank Panzer 4, meh. Nashorn, too much of a class cannon for me, but if you like the sniper playstyle, it's a very good choice. Tier 7, there's the Tiger. Obvious, like everybody, if they possibly can, will probably use the Tiger or the Tiger P. Both of them are good. Can't really say much wrong with them. Panther is also a good option. 3002D is a very good brawler. It's very good at getting in close and just circling stuff to death. It's kind of, I describe it as the T-54 of tier 7. Unfortunately, it's slightly weaker, but the armor on this thing weirdly holds up. It's kind of weird how like good the armor seems to be on this thing, even though it's a very, you would think it would be a very weak tank. It's got a strong turret, and the hull it weirdly holds up. SP1C I've never driven. I drove this. I love this, but I've never driven this because I have no real reason to. E25's alright. If you want to use that there, you can, but most people are probably going to use it if they have it. The Eye Panther's good as well. Esther Emil I wouldn't recommend because it's got a very, very strong 128, but it's a bit too much of a glass cannon, in my opinion, for this sort of thing. The Eye Panther, I would say, is probably your best option for a sniper because most people have probably got access to it. Okay, UK. No, there are a couple options for this here. If you like the Black Prince, it basically depends on what you like. Do you like fast mediums or do you prefer big slow monsters? So you have a couple of choices each tiers. If you prefer big slow monsters, Churchill 7 and 88 are decent. Tier 7, Black Prince, back when I drove it, was a monster. I'm not sure if it still holds up today, but I liked it back when I drove it. But it's HD now, so I'm not totally sure what the armor's like. 87 was alright. I thought it was too awkward for me. Challenger shit, don't touch it. Achilles also kind of shit as well, so you got 5 degrees gun depression. It's very, very awkward, and you need gun depression with something that's as much of a glass can as that thing. Cromwell, Sherman Firefly, and Comet, those are going to be the main things people use to get kills in this event. I will probably stick with my Cromwell because I have it, and there's no real point in me ban one of the other ones, considering I'll probably just do all the kills in that. Now, on to the US. US, I would say it's really personal preference what tier you do this at. T-29, very, very powerful. Tier 7 tank destroyers for the Americans are kind of meh. T20 is good. T20 could be pretty damn good for getting the damage and the kills, but it's very, very weak armor wise, so there's no room for error with that machine. Now, the Bulldog and the T-71 are also pretty damn good. If you're good with those sort of machines and you're good at getting kills with them, you probably want to use them. It really depends on the kind of playstyle you have. Like, tier 6s, what tier 6 wise, you have the M18, you have the M36, both very good options. M36 has a faster rate of fire, but it's a bigger target, and it's a wee bit slower. But yeah, it's kind of a trade off. Which one do you want? Do you want faster rate of fire, or do you want slightly more speed? Now, in terms of the jumbo, I used to love the jumbo for these sorts of events. I used to pick it without a thought, because back when it was SD, it had amazing armor. I'm not totally sure on the armor. Now it's in HD. I sold it after it was converted to HD, but I think they may have tweaked it. I don't remember. But yeah, it could be a good option. I need to check. Now, the Chinese, I believe I'm on. I've already done the Russians, done France, done Germany, UK. Okay, on to China. China has some good options. All of tier 7 for the China for the Chinese tree is good. Tier 6 kind of iffy. Type 58, if you like it, probably can use it. Type 64, great gun depression, decent gun, but it's kind of big. It's kind of big for a light tank. Like the 5916 is tiny in comparison to it. Tier 7 for the Chinese is pretty good tier. They get like a burp there. That was weird. IS2, pretty good. It's way bit weaker than the Russian equivalent, but it's still pretty good. It's an IS. What's not to love? T-34-1, very strong turret. Very good at 100mm. Kind of iffy aim time, but yeah, it's good overall. WZ-131, also very, very good. Type 62 is basically a premium WZ-131, so if you can, you probably use that. Now, Japan, that's a tree. This is a tree I'm not a fan of. Tier 6 is probably where most people are going to go with the OI, because the OI is just, it's still OP even though they nerfed it. The ONI is still, it's still a good option, I would say. The mediums, I don't like the mediums personally. I really hate them. I haven't got past tier 5 in them. I just don't care about machines which are slow and depend totally on gun depression. I very rarely care about gun depression anyway. So, yeah, that's just personal preference. So, I probably won't do the Japanese tree if I'm totally honest. Czech wise, or Czechoslovakian wise, the tier 6s are pretty good, both of them. Depends on which one you have, which one you like. T25, very, very strong. This one here, also very, very strong. This one's a big target, and it has kind of crappy gun depression. This one here had a great gun depression, but lower alpha per shot. But there's a three-shot autoloader, which is pretty unique. Oh, other than the Chi-Ri, but the Chi-Ri is massive, and it's basically you're basically driving a barn with paper for walls and a random 75mm gun shoved into it. So yeah. T-44-100 also alright. It's got the same, it's practically the same gun as the Chinese one, the T-34-1. These two practically have the same guns, except this is a bigger target. And because it's taller as well, the gun depression feels a bit more limiting. So that's just tier 6 and 7 for you. That's my opinions on those two tiers. They're fantastic for farming kills. I wouldn't recommend them for farming damage because it's more difficult to do a lot of damage consistently at these tiers because there's less health to go around. Tier 9 and 10 I would recommend. I would probably mainly recommend for just doing the damage. Trying to get kills at these tiers is very, very tricky because the machines have so much more health. It's more difficult to actually time it so you can get the kill shot. So I would just advise just going for damage in these tiers. Now on to the individual machines. Tier 9 and 10 for the Americans. Yeah, if you have any of these, you're probably fine. M48-1's great, T57 great, T125 OP as hell, T123, alright, T124 alright as well. M46 pretty damn good. T-44-100, yeah, all of them are good. I wouldn't recommend T-85. That's the only one I wouldn't recommend because it's too slow. UK? No, UK is a tricky one. If you have 215B or the 183, you can use them. 4005 and the Centurion Action X, don't touch with a 10-foot pole. Centurion Action X is a walking ammo. Well, not walking. It's a paper bag with ammo racks lining the outside. It gets ammo racked within every 2 shots it takes. It is so bad. I hate that machine. I did the FE4202 mission so I get free tier premium, and that tank is a hateful tank to drive. Centurion 7-1, far better machine. And Conqueror, if you have that fully upgraded, is also a good machine. Wouldn't recommend the Tortoise for the same reason. As I said, I wouldn't use the T-85. It's too slow, too easily outflanked. Heavy 4004. It's too much. It's a big paper bag with basically a brick of a turret put on top of it, which has like 20 armor, something like that. Yeah, it's very. Germany wise, basically anything other than the. What was it? What was the Tier 9? No, actually. Well, all of them other than the Leo PTA. That's the one German Tier 9 and 10 vehicle I wouldn't recommend. The Ag Tiger is great. Walton Trigger Panzer 4 is great. E75, VKB, E50, and all Tier 10s are pretty damn good. The Mouse, I wouldn't recommend. It's a wee bit too slow. E100 is very good because of the 750 Alpha gun, and you can fire HG to get kill secures, so could also be very useful for that. I personally sold my E100 in my Mouse. I still have the E50M, but I'm probably going to go and buy an E75. That out of all of them, I think the E75 was my favourite. Although the VKB is also a very strong Tier 9. So on to the French. The French, if you have the Tier 10s, use them, essentially. Well, other than the 51. Well, other than the 50 Foch 155. The Foch 155, it's a wee bit too weak these days to actually really recommend using. I wouldn't recommend any of the French tank destroyers, actually come to think of it. The 50B is fantastic. 30B is pretty good. It's effectively the French Leo 1, so you can use that as well. Batchat's good. 5120 is also very good. I like it, although I do get caught out by the gun depression sometimes. I believe it's like 6 degrees, so yeah. The Batchat 25T AP is good. Well, I struggle with it a wee bit because I'm not used to it yet. The 30 prototype, I'm not sure. I still don't know why the hell it's called the 1R. What a weird name, but whatever. The MX30 prototype is arguably better than the 30B at Tier 10, so yeah. Well, I think it's mainly because it actually has some front armor and can get some troll bounces, whereas the 30B at Tier 10 can't. The 50 Foch to Tier 9, the problem with those things is they're just awkward. Now, France, or not France, that's France done. On the USSR, practically anything you can get here is good. Like IS-4, IS-7, all of the heavies are good. All of the tank destroyers are good. All of the mediums are good. If you have them, use them. They're all fantastic. China. China. What do I say about China? China has some good machines. The 111 is good. The 113 is good. The 121 is also good. I think I want a 121. That's why I'm kind of grinding the T-34-2 a lot right now. WZ-120, I've heard mixed opinions on. For a while, it was considered to be one of the best Tier 9 mediums, and then it just kind of dropped off the radar. So I'm not 100% on that. I haven't driven it, so I can't say much on it. So yeah, so these three here are all very good. I can comment kind of on this because I've driven the T10, and this thing is effectively the French T10, or not the French, the Chinese T10. Good job, Ren. 113 is effectively it's the IS-4 gun with less pen on a more mobile chassis. It's effectively IS-4 sacrificing some armor for more mobility. The 121 is basically a T-54 with a weaker lower plate, worse gun depression, but a massive 122mm gun. So, yeah, that thing's pretty good in my opinion. I kind of want one, so I'm going to go for it anyway. Japan wise, now the heavies for Japan at tier 9 and 10 are really difficult to recommend. If you can put up with the artillery just hammering you constantly, and premium ammo just constantly pinging off your front ammo, off your front armor, and the ridiculous weak points these things have, which I still think are stupid. I don't know why the hell they put these weak points on these things. I'll show you them in a minute whenever that loads. Type 61 types and the STB-1. This thing here I've heard is alright. STB-1 is pretty much the MX-30B of the Japanese tree, and is overall pretty damn good machine. Sacrifices some accuracy for higher rate of fire. That's this thing's main thing. Type 5. Oh yeah, here's the weak points I was going to talk about. I'll talk about 3001P in a minute. Here's the weak points here. This is a ridiculous weak point to give a vehicle like this. I don't know what the hell possessed them to give them weak points like this. This is effectively the tier 10 Tiger P. Like if you've driven the Tiger P, you know about these cheeks. And that's pretty much what these things are. It's kind of sad that they give them these weak points. Yeah, you could say that they would be overpowered if they didn't have those weak points. I would argue against that because they're just so damn slow, and they're not maneuverable at all. Also, that armor model looks really derpy. You see that? Jeez, what the hell? Yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend either of these. Tier 9 has exactly the same weak point, and people still fire just spam prem through the front of these. I faced one of these in, I believe, my AS4 earlier today, and I just tore a new asshole. It was so easily done. I felt bad for the guy. Also, I'm not sure if this is a weak. Oh, it is a weak point. Well, it's weak-ish. If you shouldn't down on it, it's a weak point. Like, but yeah, it's just the too awkward a machine to recommend. The Czechs. Czechoslovakians even, TVP 5051 and the Skoda T50. Both are very powerful machines, and if the Skoda T25 at tier 6 is anything to go by, these are both going to be absolutely amazing machines. The Skoda T50 gets a 3-shot, 320 damage a shot autoloader, so it's 960 a clip, fast time between shots, and one of the fastest reloads on autoloader in the higher tiers. TVP is 5051 is exactly the same thing. Add an extra shot to the autoloader and roughly the same overall reload time as the tier 9. So yeah, both of them are very powerful. Now on to the reason. Oh, actually, wait, hang on. I'll just go over the 3001P. Yep, 8 degrees of gun suppression, 670 horsepower, 17 horsepower per ton. Tank traverse is a little weak, but you can fix that with a little bit of clutch braking. Turret, I think they weakened the turret a little bit in HD, but it's still got some decent zones on it, so you're going to bounce equal to your mediums and some heavies, so yeah. It's still got this, so which is annoying, but it's got 62 side armor, which means it can still side scrape to an extent. Reverse side scraping is actually a possibility in this thing. Like, you can side scrape about that amount, and you can probably bounce a couple of shots. This is a kind of an underrated machine. I had one of my highest ever damage tier 6 games in this thing, where I did like nearly 4,000 damage, trying to carry a team that died, leaving me versus like 7 tanks. I killed like 4 of them, but then got unlucky. But yeah, shit happens. Yeah, I would say this thing's probably pretty good for tier 6 in Germany. Now, on to the reason why I'm doing this here, and just showing you that tier 4 and above is what you need in order to compete, or not in order to compete, in order to be able to complete this mission. So yeah, and here is what actually triggered me to do this video now when I'd been delaying it for quite a while. This event has just been announced on the EU, and it's a great opportunity for people who have sold their tier 6s and 7s in the past to rebuy them and put new crews in them, or retrain other crews into them. This is a great chance to do that there. 30% off is nothing to laugh at. Like I've been delaying buying one of these again because of this event. And times 3, first one of the day, will help you get a couple of new tier 6s and 7s if you don't have any. So yeah, it's possible to do. I would say you would need at least tier 8 in order to be able to do this here. Most tier 8s are alright. The only really bad ones are the there it is. Now I'm just doing an overview of the bad ones. I would say T-28 prototype, both of them are crap. Su-101 is alright as far as I remember. They give that the IS-4 gun, so now it's actually got a gun that's worth a fuck. AT-15 wouldn't recommend, too slow. MX SC-48, yeah, I can see that working. Jari tier is the highlight of that line. Tier 7, I don't think it's worth going through the tier 7 though to get that. Ferdinand I liked, but it's been a while since that happened, and penetrations on guns have just continued to climb, so I'm not sure I can recommend this anymore. Panther 2 probably the best one to go for. ASU, everybody knows that thing. The 110, it's weak in comparison to what it used to be, but it's still alright. 51-100, very, very powerful. Carnarvon, meh, at best. Meh. It's just, I just hate this thing. I hated this thing. It's effectively a bad Centurion Mark 1. That's all it is. AS3, yeah, everybody knows that thing. KV4, yeah. Oh-ho, yeah. T-32, yeah. Everything I'm saying, yeah, 2 is a good machine. I like the VK-4502A, and I love my Tiger 2, so those are all good options as well. TVP VTU, I haven't driven, but I've seen enough of it to know it's essentially Panther 2 with a better aiming time, as far as I'm able to tell. So I'll just open it up here, give that a second to load. T69, good choice. T-44, good choice. T-34-2, I like it. STA-1 is alright choice as far as I'm aware. It's basically the Japanese Pershing. Panther 2, alright. Object 416, pretty damn good. It's very rare to see these days though. N26 Pershing, yeah, it's a good machine. I don't know why I paused there. Indian Panzer, I don't like. I hate this thing honestly. I just don't like how it plays. Turret is way too weak for me. Centurion Mark 1, I liked it when it was SD. I haven't driven it since it was changed to HD, so I don't know. I've heard the turret is very weak on it now. 1390s, good. SP, or not the SP, the Spy Panzer, the RE251, pretty good choice. T-54 lightweight, also a good choice. It's got the strongest armour of any of the light tanks, which is oddly enough actually kind of useful, even though it's a light tank. WG-132, I like it personally. I think I'll probably try and use it. T-49, also an interesting option. You can probably use it to kill secure some things with the 150mm gun it gets. So yeah, that's just the general overview of the machines of tier 8. Just trying to give you some advice as to like which ones to go for and which ones to not. So this is the reason, as I think I've said before, why I'm telling you to do this here, because it's a good chance to get them cheap, get new crews into them, gives you a wee bit of time to get the crews up, so you're a wee bit more competitive, and yeah, just take advantage of this while you can. This is on the EU server, don't know if it's on other servers, so yeah, take advantage if you can. And I'll bring it into this video. I'll see you in the next one.